Sage Wanderer here, coming at you from my cabin down by the creek. So, today I want to talk about a recent interview where Tucker Carlson claims he was physically attacked by a demon in the night. Dun dun dun! But before we get started, I want to thank all of you who support this channel. Whether it's a thumbs up, a kind comment, checking your subscription, or sharing of these videos. I very much appreciate your support and especially your financial support. As you know, this channel does not receive money from YouTube. I do not receive money from advertisers. This is a commercial-free zone, and it's supported completely by viewers like you through the links in the description below. Please consider becoming a contributor. You help me to make the bills around here so I can put my full focus on creating this content. So thank you, and God bless you all. So, Tucker Carlson came out, said that he was sound asleep when he was awakened in terror, only to find that he had been clawed all over his body, that he had these deep bleeding claw marks in his body. His wife was sound asleep. The house was peaceful. There was no wild animals in the house. And his first thought was maybe he did it to himself, but it was places where he couldn't physically reach, and the places that were areas where he could physically reach, the claw marks did not match up to his hand. And his fingernails are closely trimmed and manicured, and so these kind of deep claw marks would be impossible, according to him, for him to make himself. And this has sparked some conversation, and one of the people conversating on this topic is Sticks and Hammer. And although I appreciate Sticks and Hammer walking away from his involvement in the occult in the past, I have watched him go from being from being anti-Trump to being neutral to being a Trump supporter and wearing a MAGA hat. And I see in him the slow conversion to Christianity. But I don't want you to think that Sticks and Hammer is an expert on exorcism. He is an expert on old, dusty books. He thinks he knows a lot because he's read these ancient manuscripts, these forbidden books. And let me tell you, you can't be an expert in exorcism and demonology unless you've had actual real-life experience in exorcism and demonology. You can't learn from the books. It's easy to disprove a lot of hoopla from the past. It's easy to throw shade on some of these ideas as them sounding ridiculous. And Sticks and Hammer claims that he must have clawed himself, and he kind of throws the whole thing out the window. But I'm coming at you today as a genuine bona fide expert in exorcism with many, many exorcisms under my belt. And not only that, I've done it as a lone wolf, as a person operating outside the system. And therefore, I'm allowed to express to you real life experiences, whether they line up with standard Christian dogma or not. Right? So what we have here is old dusty books versus real life experience. So this manifestation of claw marks is something that is actually routinely recorded. Although I've only got 2 cases that I can come up with where they have been very well documented. One of them was a bona fide hoax. The other one was extremely hard to explain and difficult to dismiss. So we won't really talk about the hoax. It was a famous haunting. It's still a matter of controversy, but in the end, people found out that the 2 young boys, the brothers, were doing these things to each other and claiming that demons were doing them. And then the parents jumped on board for financial gain and attention. However, one of the most, well, if not the most famous exorcism of all time is the exorcism that the movie The Exorcist was based upon. Now, The Exorcist is a fictional account. This is not actually what happened, but it was based on a real-life exorcism, not of a little girl, but of a little boy. In this situation, this little boy would get covered in these claw marks. And to rule out him doing it to themselves, they actually taped socks to his hands while he slept so that he couldn't claw himself, but yet he would awaken with these claw marks. And I believe that the exorcist on the case explained this not by an external demon attacking him, and physically scratching him, but rather the internal demons, taking control of the body and causing the damage to come from within the body rather from outside the body. So causing claw mark like cuts in the body, but from the inside. This is an opinion, but we do know that this in fact occurred. Now, having said that, have I experienced or had a firsthand account of these clawings in the night? And I have to say yes. Now, having said that, I still don't believe that it was a physical demon. As you understand, if you watch the channel, I believe that demons do have a physical body, but they reside someplace far away. And the demons that we deal with as exorcists are projections of that demonic entity from some other dimension or some other planet or some other faraway place. Hell, as it were. And so I don't believe that physical manifestations are possible right now. Although if you watch the channel, you understand that I believe these demons are getting closer to being able to physically manifest in the flesh in our world. And there are cases of demons being able to use supernatural energy and power through vibrations, through disruptions of the air, as it were, to cause chairs to move, beds to jump, doors to open and close. This is well documented. But can a demon physically reach out and claw you? Well, I will not rule that out completely, but I will say this. The one experience I've had of being clawed in the night, like described by Tucker Carlson, I figured out rather quickly the cause of it. I was sharing the bed with a person who was very demonized. Now, once this person got the devils cast out of them, the night attacks stopped. But I would wake up in the morning with claw marks all over my body. And the woman in question claiming that she had no knowledge of it, that she slept through the night. I knew I wasn't doing it to myself because, like Tucker Carlson, I had short fingernails at the time. And furthermore, it were places where I couldn't reach. Then I started to wake up with sore spots and bruising on my body. And I'm a light sleeper. And I'm not the kind of person that would sleep through something like this typically. And so I started praying, both praying for, knowledge as to how this was happening, and also sleeping a little lighter, sleeping with one eye open. And I solved the case of this attack on me when I felt pain in my face. While I was sleeping, I was in a deep sleep, and I felt pain in my face. And I was half awake and half asleep with my eyes closed when my ninja skills kicked in, and I sensed an incoming threat, and I caught it in midair, which is something that I've done in physical confrontations. If you take a swing at me, chances are I'm going to catch your arm in midair because my hands are so fast. Being a multi-instrumental musician, having really crazy hand-to-eye coordination, to this day, if three things drop out of the cabinet when I open the cabinet door, I'll typically catch 2 out of 3, if not all 3. And so when I felt the pain in my face and I felt the incoming threat and I caught it in midair and opened my eyes, and I had my bedmate's wrist in my hand. She was completely sound asleep, completely unaware of what was going on, eyes closed, but was hitting me and scratching me and kicking me and elbowing me when we were both in our deepest sleep. Now, this is absolutely demonic activity, but a demon, once again, didn't have physical form to hurt me, so they used the person closest to me to hurt me. This is a common tactic of the demonic, to use somebody close to you to hurt you. If they can't get you to hurt yourself, they'll get somebody else to hurt you. And it might be the person lying in the bed next to you. Now, this was something that once brought to my attention, we began to pray against. We went through a deliverance process that lasted some time with this person. And eventually we would have peaceful sleep, right? And no more of these attacks. I would say to Tucker Carlson, rather than just assuming because you couldn't reach those spots that were clawed or that your handprint didn't match, that you might consider your wife. She was laying in bed next to you. She could have easily been taken over by demons. And we all know, those who watch the channel know, that middle of the nighttime when you're the soundest asleep. They call it the witching hour, that 2 to 4 a.m. time period is when your defenses, your natural defenses, are at its lowest point, where your ability to defend against the demonic is at its weakest. And it's that time of night when people typically get night terrors, they have sleep paralysis, they have demonic dreams, they might encounter succubuses who attack them in a sexual way. And all of this is happening in the supernatural realm. But when you have physical marks on you, unless you're like the boy in The Exorcist, where he was sleeping alone in a guarded room with his hands literally bound, that these symptoms can happen. These occurrences can happen according to what we know in modern times. I'm not going to be like Sticks and Hammer and make fun of the whole concept by going back and quoting some dusty book from 1,000 years ago. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. Wait a minute. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. In fact, most old things are kind of crummy. I'm getting old, and I get crummier by the day. It's the law. It's the law of decay, right? So rather than going back and trying to find some ancient stories where this occurred, why don't we just look at what we know about what's going on today? These kind of things happen. People do get physically attacked, either by attacking themselves or by their bedmate attacking them, or in some very rare instances, demons can cause this, but it's usually a symptom of a much deeper demonic possession, as in the case of the boy from the Exorcist storyline, the real Exorcist, not the movie version. And so this kind of physical manifestation does happen. Now, in the case of Tucker Carlson, I feel like he's another one of these guys like Trump who are under God's protection because they have some role to play in the future of this country, that they're instrumental players. So it would very much stand to reason that Tucker Carlson would become a target of the enemy. And although he's under God's protection, somehow this got through. Sometimes God allows us to see the devil's hatred for us. Tucker Carlson will tell you that it caused him to call up his nearest evangelical Christian friend who might believe him and talk to them about this. And it led to him really understanding the deeper reality of the spiritual warfare. I have a track record of converting atheists and agnostics. Atheists are people that don't believe in God. Agnostics are people that are not sure one way or the other. And also deists. Deists are people who believe that there is some kind of higher power. They believe in a creation. They believe in a creator who, like a watchmaker, made the watch, wound it up, and then walked away and let it run. And they don't believe in anything supernatural. But I've had a great success in converting these people to Christianity, not by convincing them that God is real, not even by convincing them of the historical Jesus, that he was an actual person from history. No, I've had my greatest success in converting these people by showing them the devil, by convincing them that demons are real. Now, that may seem absurd, but if you accept that demons are real, the natural next thing that occurs is for you to say, if demons are real, then angels must be real. If the devil is real, then God must be real. If demonic supernatural power is real, then angelic Christian power is also real. And it's a watershed moment. It's a light bulb moment. Why would it be easier to convince somebody of the realness of demons versus the realness of God? Well, part of it is God is not arrogant. God doesn't need you to validate his power, right? His power is what it is. God doesn't sign his work, right? God works in mysterious ways. God is intentionally at work in secret, at work in subtlety. And demons, on the other hand, they want full credit. They want to scare you. They want to show off what power they do have. And if you watch this channel, you know the only power demons really have is to convince you to agree with them. And so demons really, really want to be seen. So therefore, they're easier to see than God. And I think even an agnostic or an atheist, they will see things that humans do, and they think to themselves, this is so far out of human nature. This horrible demonic thing that someone did is so far from human nature. How can it be natural? This is an unnatural act. So all I've got to do is show them the devil that's right in front of them. And then that domino effect happens. And they go, ding, 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 ding. If devils are real, then God is real. Then I need to pick a side. I'm in a war. I'm in a supernatural spiritual war. And through this method, I have used this method to convert many people into being Bible-believing Christians. Because, you know, I've said this before. It's easier to convert a Satanist or a witch than it is to convert an agnostic. Because you have to teach an agnostic to believe. You have to instill in them some faith. You have to, where people on the other side, oh, they're believers. All you have to do to them is convince them they're on the wrong side. All you got to do is show them that they're backing the wrong horse. All you got to do is show them the fruit of their witchcraft, which is self-destruction, right? The devil doesn't treat his workers well at all. And so all you've got to do to win over a Satanist or win over a witch is to convince them that their master doesn't have their best interests at heart. That's an easy sell because they already have faith. I would rather try to convert a witch or a Satanist than I would try to convert an atheist or an agnostic or even a deist, because they have no faith and no belief. So if members who are working in a certain direction in our country are under God's protection, like Donald Trump and potentially Tucker Carlson, why did God let this devil physically attack him? Because it was the catalyst that drove him closer to God. It was the catalyst that made him go, oh my God, the devil's out to get me. I need God's protection. If demons are real, then angels are also real. So, to answer Sticks and Hammers' dismissal of this, I have to say, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You may be an expert on dusty old books, but you need to talk to somebody who's on the front row, who's on the ground level, who's on the front lines of this fight against the demonic, who has real life experience. Look to what happened in our lifetime, not to what happened 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. Let the past be past. Live in the present with a mind towards the future. And know this fight is real. The devil wants to kill you if he's got to strangle you with your own hand. If he has to convince you to jump off of a building. If he has to convince you that nothing is real. The devil is at work continuously, like a roaring lion, roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. But the Bible tells us all we have to do is draw close and resist the devil, and the devil has to flee. This is how Tucker Carlson can laugh about being physically marred by a devil, right? Because he drew close to God and resisted the devil, and now he's through it. This was unfortunately, this very much backfired on the devil. The devil's attempts to destroy us often backfire, because what they do is scare us just enough to drive us into the arms of God, just enough to open our mind to the supernatural. And once your mind's open to the supernatural and you see that we're engaged in an epic battle between good and evil, and it isn't just the hearts of men, that there are supernatural forces at work to destroy us and, on the other side, to rescue us from this attack. So the devil tried to take him out, and all it did was drive him closer to God and made him a true believer. Do I believe Tucker Carlson was attacked by a devil? Yes. I suspect the devil attacked his wife, because that's what they do. The devil attacks the people close to you. If you have personal protection, the devil's going to find somebody with less personal protection and use them to get to you. It's classic demonology 101, classic demon tactics 101. And so I suspect his wife did it to him, but not because she hates him or she's mad because he missed her anniversary or she's upset because she didn't get the new car she wanted. I believe she was sound asleep with her gates wide open, and a demon took temporary control of his wife and caused her to scratch him. Could a demon physically manifest in that way? Yes, but typically that's involved in a much bigger demonic event, like a full demonic takeover, a full possession, where the devil's trying to destroy the host, as in the case of the Exorcist story. Tell me what you think in the comments section. If you believe a demon manifested out of clear blue sky and cut you up with claws, I am not going to criticize you at all. I'm going to, in fact, accept that that's within the realm of possibility, especially if you got short fingernails and you were sleeping alone and there's no animals in the house. Now, another thing that people don't talk about with the Tucker Carlson thing, which surprises me, is that he said he was in bed with his wife and 4 dogs. They all got claws. Could the dogs have scratched him? Could a demon have taken possession of the dog who would love him and would never think of scratching or biting him and having him attack him? Yeah, demons can manifest in animals too. Yeah, devil dogs are real. Either way, the attempt by the demonic, the event itself drove him closer to God and caused him to step off of the fence when it comes to the supernatural realm and accept the realness of the reality that many of us fully understand. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Is this something that really happened to him? Is it possible? How do you think it happened? Has it ever happened to you? And you got a safe place here to talk about your experiences in the comments below. And we'll see you next time. But I am going to leave you with this powerful prayer. I know I'm wearing the hat, and this is kind of one of those political but also religious videos. But I'm going to leave you with the prayer because this prayer needs to be said. I'm going to start saying it all the time. Lord, surround us in your ring of fire and hedge of thorns of protection. God, send mighty angels of sufficient rank, authority, and number to drive the enemy from our midst, O Lord, and cover us in your peace and protection in Jesus' name. Amen. We'll see you next time.